again facing threats from those who want to see nurses, our allied health professionals, and the public sector, the healthcare sector, take a huge leap backwards. We face attacks. We face attacks from both the federal government, like never before, and also the provincial government and politicians. The federal government is attacking unions with blatant anti-union measures like Bill C-377, and they call it an act to amend the Income Tax Act, brackets, labor organizations. For you to know, you're in the firing line. Their hidden agenda is to monitor and restrict the political activity of unions and of labor organizations. We have to be watching. We have to be acting. It smacks of the influence of corporate Canada and what is happening in the States. And it's spreading like a bad flu to Canada, to a place near you. We're doing everything we can. And I'm asking you to do everything you can to speak up. Are you proud to be part of a union? Are you proud to be part of the public service and providing health care to Ontarians? Then you need to continue to speak up. So let's talk about Mr. Hudak. His little white paper. Yes, several private members' bills that are out there. Very overt anti-union tones. The party claims to believe that our arbitration system is broken and needs to be reformed to tie compensation agreements to, oh, I love their words, taxpayers' ability to pay. Well, guess what? Our collective agreements do reflect taxpayers' ability to pay. They reflect reasonable wages, benefits, and working conditions considering the financial times that we're under. And I don't know what Mr. Hudak doesn't get about that message, but I'm asking you to continue to give it to him. The party's white paper, guess what it's called? It's known as Flexible Labor Markets. Flexible, that F word again. And it proposes anti-union action in 4 key areas. They're going to eliminate the RAND formula for paying union dues. They're going to open up, this is Tim Hudak's idea of a flexible labor market. They would like to eliminate the RAND formula for paying union dues. They want to open up our books to the public. I don't have a problem with that. Our books are already wide open. They want to modernize the tendering rules to open up more government work to the private sector competition. Because yes, exactly, shame. And the best, they want to reform Ontario's workplace agencies for a more flexible workforce and private competition. This is all about low-paying jobs and putting money in the pockets of the upper echelon and corporations. Make no mistake about it. The middle class is not part of Hudak's white paper. They have also proposed that no clauses in any provincial legislation, regulation, or collective agreement should require a worker to become a union member or pay union dues as a condition of employment. So, they've got plans for you, you union leaders, not the employers who deduct our dues. They have plans for you to be going around on a monthly basis collecting union dues from your 60,000 members. Talk about keeping us busy doing something other than representing the rights of our members. So I guess I would say Mr. Hudak is not a fan of unions. But what it really boils down to is that we are threatened with a U.S. style of stripping of workers' rights in Ontario. This so-called right to work, what an oxymoron, right to work legislation that was passed in Alabama and in Wisconsin have resulted in precariously lower wages, disappearing pensions and benefits, shrinking union membership numbers, and disseminated union power. It has also eliminated the democratic right to collectively bargain. And if you can't see the steam coming out of my ears now, let me tell you, The attack on pensions is alive and well. All you have to do is read the paper. Criticism of and threats to unions and their members are emerging from many directions, despite the fact that even the World Bank recognizes and confirms that by every meaningful economic indicator, countries with higher rates of unionized workers have lower unemployment and inflation. Higher productivity, you know that productivity scale for nurses that's over the top? Yes. And speedier adjustments to economic downturns. By raising the bar on wages, on benefits, and on working conditions, labor unions establish new and fairer standards for all workers. This enables workers and their families to enjoy more disposable income, to support services and businesses that help the economy thrive. Here in Ontario, we have had the pleasure of having legislation passed for our teachers. How many of you are related to a teacher? Yes. So we have had legislation passed for the teachers of Ontario that have stripped them of their collective bargaining rights, that have forced them to take unpaid time, that has basically forced them to take concessions. But we are fighting back. I've been with Ken, I've been with Sam, and they will be here tomorrow and even tomorrow night. Ken Coran, Sam Hammond from the USSTF and the elementary teachers. And we've been fighting back. And our message to the government is, hands off our collective agreements. The threats that were going to take place, well, they did take place. The threats that took place to actually do the same thing to us as the nurses of Ontario basically are set aside, but only probably what I would call, and some of the government officials call, a pause. A pause. Because government's been prorogued. The legislation to freeze our wages and the draconian type of concessionary measures that they force the teachers is now on a pause for us as nurses, and that's because the government is not in session. So, when that government gets back in session, or whatever government ends up being elected probably sometime in the new year, we need to be a voice out there again. Hands off collective bargaining and respect the work that nurses and all of our 60,000 members do for our Ontarians across Ontario. Clearly, the need for solidarity and to push back and fight back has never been greater. And unless each of us finds another gear to work together to stop these attacks, we risk sliding. We risk sliding back to an era where nurses were simply regarded as doctors' handmaidens, earning practically slave wages and having no power to better the working conditions to provide that quality care. As we move forward, never forget the dedication and commitment of your fellow ONA members, both in this room and across Ontario. Take strength from each other. Let us support one another as we, ONA members, together face the challenges of the future and overcome the obstacles that still remain for us to be a fair union and have fair and equitable workplaces. And as we celebrate the past, let's move forward. And our slogan says, we are a vibrant profession. We are a powerful union. Thank you.